Like most centers of American road racing, competition in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin began using production cars on public roads. When speed and safety demanded a purpose-built circuit, Wisconsin went big, very big. The result was Road America, a massive 4-mile loop through the green countryside of the Dairy State, where production-based cars race on in the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge. The thundering Grand Sport machines and the high-revving street tuner cars continue their championship stretch drive at Mighty Road America now on Fox Sports 1. Mighty Road America, the track of many nicknames, including America's Nürburgring and the National Park of Speed, plays host to round 7 of the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge. Welcome to the Continental Tire SportsCar Showcase from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Varsha, along with Calvin Fish and Justin Bell. Here in the upper Midwest, summertime means surprise showers. We got one yesterday that wiped out qualifying, so the field will start based on championship points. But Calvin, the silver lining to that cloud, if you will, is that with just 4 races to go in the season, all of the championship contenders are starting right up front at each other's elbows.
They really are, Bob. The 2 leading championship contenders are side by side on the grid today. And at Lime Rock Park in the last round, well, they found themselves too close for comfort out on the racetrack. In the early going, Andrew Davis misjudged traffic a little bit, got into the back of the run bar machine, turned him around hard into the wall, really put them in a big hole that day. They finished 10th, but now they find themselves 24 points behind in the championship. That's a long way to go with only 4 rounds remaining. But the hottest team on the circuit right now is Multimatic Racing. That new car's been sensational. They've gone for their 3rd consecutive victory here today with that Multimatic car. Justin, this is a very different racetrack to Lime Rock. That was a bull ring, lots of action. What do you expect here today?
Well, actually, I think more of the same, just on a grander scale. Everything's bigger about this track. It is one of the top North American circuits modeled after those European tracks for a reason. The higher speeds, the overtaking opportunities, there's more of everything here. I think we're going to see brave drivers in fast cars making incredible moves, which is good for all of us spectators.
In fact, 3 times the length of our most recent track, Lime Rock Park, with more than 3 times the elevation change. Now let's get down to the pit lane and Jamie Howe.
Well, Bob, you guys talked about the Camaros and the Mustangs, but there are a couple of other stories in GS that we need to keep our eyes on. The first of those, a local story, Fall Line Motorsports. So the defending GS team champions, they've had more bad luck than good luck this year. They've only had 1 podium, but they have finished outside of the top 10 in the last 2 races. They seem to be back on their game, and they're looking for a strong result this weekend in front of their hometown crowd. But there's another set of locals to keep an eye on. They're the drivers in the number 41 Nissan. Nick Hammond is from here in Elkhart Lake. Stephen Doherty is from nearby Plainfield, Illinois. They led practice yesterday. They have plenty of friends and family on hand for support as they look for their first podium. That's in GS. For more on ST, here's Brian Till.
Well, thanks, Jamie. You know, the Continental Tire SportsCar Championship is known for its close racing on the racetrack and for its very close championships. And this year in ST, both of those statements could not be more accurate. Only 4 points separate Freedom Autosport drivers Liam Dwyer and Andrew Carbonell from points leaders and CJ Wilson Racing teammates Stephen McAleer and Chad McCumbee. But the Manufacturers Championship in ST is even closer. It's a dead heat, a statistical tie between Mazda and Porsche with 3 wins each and the same number of 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place finishes. So close that you'd have to look deep into the rule book to determine the tiebreaker there. But remember, with 4 races left in the 2015 championship, including today's race, anything can and probably will happen. Bob?
All right, thank you very much, Brian. Cars are on track, as you saw. Cloudy skies overhead, but no rain in the forecast. We'll see if that holds. Stay with us. Built in 1955 in a space of just 4 months. Justin, tell us about Road America.
Just over 4 miles.
Green, 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 green.
Green flag waves and we're underway at Road America. GS class headed down to turn 1.
And look at that run-bum machine, immediately makes the move to the front right now with those multi-matic cars trying to find a way through here.
Yeah, you knew they had to be aggressive off the start, Calvin, because to be in the lead as you make this first lap is critical round here.
Green flag, green flag.
Here comes the street tuner class. "41 cars in all." Our Continental Tire starting grid across the top of your screen. Take a quick look because it's going to change quickly.
Look at Sarah Catania immediately up to the second spot, gets in front of Liam Dwyer as he gets a little bit wide on cold tires, up and over the curb, everyone takes advantage.
Liam was so nervous before the start. I just spoke to him, and that was not what he wanted, because now he's fallen back into the clutches of all those guys wanting the same top spot. This is the way ST Racing was at Lime Rock, and it's repeating itself right here at Road America.
Yeah, he's just got to calm down right now. That's not the start he was looking for, even though he was a little bit apprehensive about the start. As Catania looks for the lead, 37 in the tires.
Oh, one of the John Cooper Work Special Minis. Hard right front impact, it looks like. But the race goes on. Up front, that fuchsia-colored Honda, now in the class lead.
Yeah, that was an amazing start. I tell you what, his rear trunk lid was open, I just saw as he went down there out of picture. The 37 is regaining the track. That's great news. We don't want to yellow this early on, Calvin.
No, we certainly don't. Hopefully that 37 car's been in the wars a little bit in recent rounds. Remember, Watkins Glen had a couple of incidents there, but McCumbee now looking for a way to get back to the front. But that little Civic looks really strong here today. McCumbee looks to the inside, down into the brake zone for turn 8.
Yeah, Sarah Catania did a nice job there. Nice job, Calvin. That was prudent driving. She knows it's early on in this race, but I tell you, that's the whole thing in this series. It's all about momentum through the corners. You can't, literally one little lift in the wrong place. Wow, look at that.
Moseying around the outside of the carousel.
Yeah, beautiful. Fourth gear for these guys around there, Calvin. That's pretty swift.
Talked to Owen Drinkler a little bit earlier, as co-driver with Sarah Catania in the 44 Civic, and he said, really, the rain was a blessing for us. We've not qualified that well. Their best qualifying was 8th. She got to start 3rd because of the position in the championship. The Honda should be working well around here. They got 200 RPM added to their rev limit when they went to Lime Rock, and it's not a horsepower thing, but it does allow that Civic to stretch gears a little bit between corners. They don't have to shift quite so awesome, and they're looking for big things here at Road America.
Just watch, you can see there, Rodriguez Jr. in the 17 Porsche. The Porsches are running well here. You see them. Oh, look at that. That's how the Mini 37 went off. That grass is still wet, Calvin, from yesterday. There was no braking going sideways.
Yeah, turn 3 down there, downhill and into that brake zone, cold tires, and everyone trying to jostle for position right there.
And look at this, the bright yellow and blue rum-bum Porsche, as Calvin mentioned, their championship hopes took a big hit at our most recent round at Lime Rock Park, when the first place car in the standings, driven by Andrew Davis, got into the back of one of the Plum brothers and destroyed their hopes of a good finish in Connecticut.
I actually saw the whole driver lineup having lunch just before the start of the race, and they knew, get out front and hold it. Their car is not good if it gets balked in traffic. It's not good at restarts. They needed to have a fast start, and they have.
Moseying to the front in ST, takes that position away from Chad McCumbee. Rodriguez Jr. doing a nice job there in the 4th spot. Piscatel on the move in 5th.
Now, they say there are horses for courses. Justin, you mentioned how the Porsche does well in clean air, not so well perhaps in traffic. I don't think we've seen a front-wheel drive car win in the ST category this year. That's what Sarah Catania is driving. Does it have a chance?
Well, you'd think that, you know, obviously the specific drivetrain layouts of these cars are so diverse, and that's what, oh, the 17 goes around. Just as I was saying a minute ago, running so well. I have to say, I think the Porsches are very well balanced for this track, Calvin. You could see Lewis making a really good move forward, just as we cut to the ST a few minutes ago. That's not what he needed.
Certainly the Cayman was a very strong platform last year. This year they've been brought back a little bit to the competition. It's all about BOP, or adjustment of performance, AOP as we now call it, in terms of making everyone have a fair shot at a win. But certainly the Mazdas have been tough of late. They're saying this should not be the ideal circuit for them, but championship leader up there in the 2nd spot in the early going.
You see Jeff Mosing in the lead. When he took that lead, his team, big applause. But I was talking to Eric Foss, his co-driver, and he said the biggest change for Jeff Mosing this season has been that he's been competing in the GT3 championship as well. So what that does is it gives him extra track time over the course of the weekend, and he's able to get behind this car and immediately be up to speed, whereas before it used to take him a couple of laps. But as far as the team is concerned, he said when they got that restrictor added to the car right before Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, they didn't tune enough around it. But the team is now rallied together. They've come back together, and they've really put a solid package together, and they're feeling strong about a win today. Brian?
Well, the Mini may be solid on track, but in this incident, it took solid impact to the right side. The right side door caved in, significant damage to the fender, and now the right side tire is being replaced because it had been shredded. But it'll be interesting to see such a big hit up front. Has it damaged the steering, or has it damaged some of the suspension components?
We saw the 81, the BMW. Andre Hartanto for Bimmer World Racing swapped ends, but he is back underway.
I have to say, Bob, that we've seen till 3 spins right now, but such is the nature of this track, they're lucky they were doing them in places they could rejoin. That's what we hope is the continuation throughout this race, because if you go off in the wrong place here, especially in this wet grass, as we just saw the Mini do, it can have a bit more dire results. But that was Liam Dwyer there. I believe he's probably settling back into the natural position for him right now, Calvin, with the people he's used to driving, in with the people he's familiar with right now, pushing hard. Liam was very nervous. I mean, I have to say, really nervous. A lot of responsibilities. He gives a little nudge there to the 19th.
That was not the move of a nervous driver.
No, but I think he's probably settled down by now. He said he hadn't eaten today, and he was just going to have a banana and a granola bar. I said, believe me, once the race starts, mate, it'll just be settling down as normal.
I would think a guy like Staff Sergeant for Liam Dwyer and all that he went through, including serious injuries in his tours of Iraq and Afghanistan, he'd be a pretty hard guy to unnerve.
Yeah, but there's nothing like a gentleman driver in a sports car to be more nervous than machine gun fire, Bob.
When I was talking to Liam this morning, guys, as you said, he was very nervous about dropping back in the order, but he said as long as he can stay ahead of like 15th, 16th position, he thinks that they're still going to be okay. He's back down to 13th right now, so we'll see what happens. But he said after about 5 laps, he thought he would be able to then make up some ground and move back forward. So keep an eye on these next couple of laps with him.
And we lost a lot of track time this weekend in terms of dry track time with the rain and such, so everyone's a little bit out of their comfort zone. The track's a little bit different. It's only just starting to rubber in. We've only just seen the first dry laps this morning with the various practice sessions held here at Road America. So the racetrack is going to evolve throughout the course of this race, 2 hours, 30 minutes, and the balance on the race car will change a little bit along with that.
Calvin, that's exactly what a lot of the teams down in pit lane are saying. They said it's really a roll of the dice as far as trying to set the car up, because with rubber being washed off the racetrack yesterday in the rain, it's very much an unknown. So as that track begins to change a little bit, do you have the right setup or do you not? With this cloud cover, important to note though, this green racetrack will stay relatively cool. That should help tire wear a little bit. And both in GS and in ST, the Porsches like that, because this racetrack can be very hard on the rear tires.
Scott Maxwell is certainly looking for a way by Matt Bell. Matt Bell went a little bit defensive down into turn 5 on him. Scotty was looking for a change of position there, but now McCumbee back to the lead in ST. This battle isn't going away.
That means he must have had the most extraordinary exit out of turn 14 there, Calvin, to be able to carry that up the hill and make that move, because they don't slow down much for turn 1. Right now, we're heading into the areas you go down here. These cars particularly effective.
So quick there.
Look at it, so quick. But as they're braking downhill into turn 5, and that's a very demanding thing on any car, but he's got the run on him.
Look at Catania. She's drawing a great draft from both those cars, punching a hole in the air. And sure about the bodywork on that car. We saw her on the first lap as she ran over the rumble strip in turn 5. The rear deck lid was loose. And look at the front hood. That's sort of like got a vibration going on at high speed as well.
Yeah, that won't be helping her aero. Look at the trunk, boom, 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 or the boot, as we'd say in proper English, is going up and down. Probably feels more like a parachute if it keeps doing that.
They typically have that basically unlatched so they can do the refueling a little bit quicker based on the fact that the aerodynamics will keep it closed, but over the bumps you see it moving around a little bit.
Beautiful orange Porsche Cayman from Murillo Racing. There's a story behind that car and that team. We'll tell you about that when we return to Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and more of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. It's known throughout motorsports that the best track food you'll ever find is right here at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. We're in America's Dairyland. There There's something for everyone at the concession stands around this 4-mile loop. Welcome back to the Continental Tire Sports Car Showcase. Here I'm Bob Varsha with Calvin Fish, Justin Bell, Jamie Howe, and Brian Till. Leading in the street tuner class, Jeff Mosing in that bright orange Porsche Cayman. The Murillo Racing Group, the only team in the series of, and I'm not mistaken, that run two different types of cars in the same class, ST in this case. They also brought a BMW to the track for this weekend, but sadly, in a heavy crash on Friday, Tim Probert wound up with cracked ribs. He was taken to a Milwaukee hospital to be treated, and we certainly hope he is on the mend.
It's a great little battle here for second. We saw Justin Piscatell go through the inside in turn one to take that second spot away from championship leader Chad McCumbee. And here comes Gilsinger down the inside. 2 for 1. He'll take it.
Can he make it stick? He runs wide on the exit. Oh, he really gave it a go, though. That was breaking downhill as late as you can.
And watch McCumbee. He'll try and slide through on the inside. There he goes.
Yeah, McCumbee, Piscatell in front. And, of course, eyes on Mosing up about a second and a half up the road there, Calvin. Of course, he's looking in his mirrors thinking, keep rock and rolling, guys, because makes my job of building a gap a little bit easier. But I tell you what, there's still fight there in Chad, in that 93 Honda. He's still got some sportiness left in him. It didn't deter him running wide there. I think you're going to see him launch another attack going through the carousel, and I think he's going to launch another attack going down the back straight there.
I think it's been a frustrating season for the Hart team. I mean, they've gone through 3 different drivers. As a co-driver to Gilsinger, we had Petey Cunningham at the opening round. Kuno Whitmer was in for a few rounds, and now they've got Ryan Eversley. So really good guys working alongside that team, but they've just had a little bit of bad luck one way and another. But here they really feel that Civic has potential to grab their first win of the year.
And of course, you've got to manage it, because even though he's able and he's fast enough to launch these attacks, that will take a toll, a cost on his tires. And this is a long stint for these cars, isn't it? Over an hour, Calvin, at Road America is very demanding on your car.
And Bob talked about it, that the front-wheel drive vehicles have not had a lot of success this year, and you're just asking a lot out of those front tires. They're obviously doing all the turning, all the loading through the high-speed corners like the carousel and the kink, and you're asking them to get traction off the corners. So on a long green flag run, yes, definitely a lot of work and demands on the Contis.
To Brian.
Talk about the front-wheel drive cars. Another one of the Civics out there, driven by Sarah Catania. Owen Tringler on the radio as she flashes by. Owen, spectacular start by Sarah, staying up front. What was the plan going into the green?
The plan was we thought we could get the lead with the MX-5 up front. We talked to a couple other guys behind us what our sort of plan was. We wanted to get to the lead and maybe just fall back a little bit, conserve the car. We've got a great car for today. I think we'll bring it to the Rub Bump guys to do our pit stop and see where we go from there.
Talk about a great car for today, but you guys are third in this championship. Looking forward, what do you have to do, not only today, but for the rest of the year, to see if you can't end up with that big trophy at the end of the season?
Well, we're the little team that can. We think the other Japanese cars probably going to slow down a little bit. They're really quick. I felt today coming to Road America, then VIR next, was right in our wheelhouse for us. And the next 2 rounds after that are kind of a toss-up, but I think we've got a good, consistent car. We've been finishing the top 5. That's our goal, just be right there and be a player at Road Atlanta.
They still have a long way to go in this championship, and there is time left, Jamie.
Well, there's still a lot of time left in the race as well, Brian, but right now, Jeff Mosing leading ST. Eric, when we were talking before the race, you said this team has put in a lot of effort to really come together. What's been the biggest area of focus?
Yeah, Murillo Racing guys have been working hard. We've worked a lot on a brake package and a suspension package. Jeff Mosing's been doing a phenomenal job. He's been running the IMSA GT3 Cup this year and really stepped up his game. A lot of time we look at the data, I'm learning as much from him as he is from me now. So it's just been a great pleasure to run with him and get this car back up to the front.
When you guys fell back a little bit in the point standings, now you're not really in it for the championship top spot. So what is the strategy for the rest of the season?
Well, actually, we are in it for the top. So we're only 28 points out. It's 35 for a win, and there are 4 races to go. So we still have almost half the championship left. So I feel like we're still in it for a chance. So the idea is to push. I mean, if we can win some races here, we can get back up to the top. You know, we see the 26 struggling right now. The 5's obviously got strong pace. But, you know, we're push those Continental tires and see how close we can get to that championship.
All right, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks very much, Jamie. Battle continues in ST, drawing away ever so slightly from 3rd place. Meanwhile, back to the front of the race, still Hugh Plum out front in the Rum Bump Porsche 911, but there has been a change in 2nd place. currently running almost 6 seconds behind Hugh Plum in that Porsche. Brad Jaeger got around the Mustang GT 350 RC of Jade Buford. Here's a look.
Well, he'd been having several looks to the inside on various corners, and then he decides, well, I'll just go the long way around, Justin.
Yeah, and going up there, he'll tell you, he had half a second of decision to make there, didn't he? Which way to go, but that was a nice move. You've got to have a lot of confidence to go around the outside here. You've got to know that you can make it stick as you get to the braking, just down one gear and turn in there and carry the speed through. So he did that very nicely executed. But as you said, Buford is known for 5 laps. That was about to happen. So you could see he did exactly what the regulations say. He made his move, he sat in the middle, and then he could not make a defensive move after that. So good driving from both of them.
Yeah, you're allowed to pick your line. If you want to run a different line, make that move early. Don't react to the guy trying to make a move behind you. So as you said, basically Buford took the middle of the road, and Jaeger had a run on him. The Nissans were very quick in practice, actually had the first and second fastest times in practice here yesterday. So they were very disappointed, Bob, that qualifying was rained out and didn't get to run and really show their true potential.
Your eyes do not deceive you. We're not even 10 laps into this race, and the GS leaders are lapping slower cars from the ST field. I'm with you, Calvin. That Nissan speed was on us. Those guys have been quick all weekend. And I guess we could call them, the Doran Racing 370Zs, the fastest cars who have yet to win a race this year.
I'm interested, though, in what's happening with the 6 and the 9, the 2 Chevys there, because we're on board here right now with the 6, with the number 9 Stevenson. They are, sorry, with the number 6, with Andrew Davis. They were very quick in practice, but I wonder if they're having to run to a pace a little bit more, Calvin, to make their tires last over the course of this stint. Because they definitely don't have, even though if we look at the lap times, they're only literally a couple of tenths behind, but they're not looking that strong at this point of this stint.
No, and I spoke to Andrew Davis and Rob Dell at length yesterday, and they basically said, listen, we've got a huge lead. We've never, you see Matt Bell there slip a little bit wide there on the exit of turn 8 as he made that move down to the inside of traffic. But they said, we have a massive lead. We've always been chasing in the championship. He said, right now, with the adjustment of performance on the cars, we do no longer have the fastest car in the series, but we have a big points lead. We've just got to be smart here from this point forward.
You know what happens when you start to tighten up? You start to lose, and that would be my worry, Bob.
Ashley Freiberg in that number 46 BMW right behind Matt Bell in the Camaro. There's a good story there. We'll talk about that when we return to Road America. Back at Road America, let's get you up to speed. We're under our first full course caution of the event, and there is the reason, as Florida Dr. Ramin Abdul-Vahabi got a surprise when the hood on his JCW Mini flew up, and that meant pit stop time under yellow.
Yeah, and just about the 30-minute mark in the race, so everyone decided in GS class to come in. Couldn't do the driver change. You got to be 45 minutes in to be able to get your driver out. So just top them up with fuel. They should be good to do it on just one more stop. Stevenson at work, but there you see the 9 car still in the pit box. Jacket collapsed, big problem there. They had to recover.
It's the 9 car working. You might have also saw the 46 BMW, Ashley Freiberg, getting out a big jump up as we go green once again. The order is Brad Jaeger. Not sure why the Nissan didn't stop, but they did not. Followed by Scott Maxwell in the first of the GT 350 RCs, Nicolante and Chris Buffet.
Yeah, top 3 cars on the racetrack at the green. Had not made a pit stop yet today, but this will shuffle down the order. The run bump machine, you can see who led the early going is up to 4th. Freiberg there looking really strong out there today.
Yeah, she took a bump from the 158 of Jade Buford, but she got by. Now she runs in 6th place.
Yeah, quite a lot of contact actually, Mustang on Mustang action there as we came through the first couple of corners. But remember, they're all the mix here, Calvin, between cars on fresh tires and full tanks is going to be interesting. I mean, Brad Jaeger has that advantage in terms of track position, but I don't think it's going to be a big advantage for long. Jamie?
Some ST cars now hitting pit lane. Number 26, Mazda, driver change now complete. The left side tires also done. 4 new Continentals going on this MX-5. Andrew Carbonell still getting strapped in, so Liam Dwyer out. His day is done here, and he did survive for that full stint that he was so nervous about. So now we'll see what Andrew can do.
the reason you're seeing guys pit after green is because we've hit the 45-minute mark in this race, so they can do the driver change. And the ST cars, with maybe a little bit of help with another yellow, may be able to squeak by without hitting pit lane again for fuel today.
They're the front runners, Jager Maxwell.
But there's the strategy play right there. Hugh Plum already back up to 30s, full of fuel, got fresh rubber on. So the guys who didn't take the opportunity to pit, suddenly they're on the back foot a little bit, even though they have track position right now.
Track position just for a little moment there, but absolutely. What are you going to say, Bob?
Well, I see Chris Buffet in a Mustang, but that is not the same car that Scott Maxwell is driving ahead of him. Maxwell's in the new GT350 RC. Galante is running the old Boss 302 Mustang.
Yeah, I tell you what, you know, Hugh has just looked so strong in that car from the beginning of this race. I definitely said at the beginning, I think, you know, it's not retribution in terms of on-track retribution, it's performance retribution for that run bar machine. They just want to win, dominate, and leave here saying, you know what, we'd have done this to you at Lime Rock as well if we hadn't had that incident.
Yeah, and I think the car's obviously suited to this racetrack, so we see a little dust up there. Ashley looking pretty aggressive there as we get down to turn one. She's going to take advantage there, possibly the 57. Closes the door, but she has the inside run down at the brake zone for 3.
Let's get more on the Multimatic number 15.
This full course caution that we just had might have been quite a reprieve for Scott Maxwell in the 15 before that, with that first section of green flag racing, really having a problem with the brakes overheating a lot. High-speed straightaways into very low-speed corners here at Road America. And that full course caution gave him time to cool that braking system on the 15. We'll see if he can keep it cool.
He's feeling the heat from behind, that's for certain, because Plum is on the march once again. Freiberg and that BMW looking strong. Young Trent Hinman, who's now a BMW supported driver, doing some racing over in Europe, will be taking over the reins. He's the defending class champion in the series. They had a quiet year, obviously.
You guys saw that pit stop for the number 9 car falling off of the jacks, but the 6 car also made a pit stop under that caution period, and they had a great stop. They did make a wing adjustment. Andrew was reporting some oversteer, so they went ahead and tried to address that issue. He stayed in the car, and Robin Liddell's waiting for his turn next.
I think they made a rear sway bar adjustment, possibly. There's, I mean, the pit stops are quick, but you can get underneath the wheel arch and maybe make a little change there. We heard some radio communication from Mike Johnson talking about the changes. So just trying to get this dialed in. I think that comes back to the racetrack evolving, Justin, and the fact we didn't have a lot of dry track running this weekend.
Yeah, for teams and drivers, there's very little data going into this race. So that first stint, even though it was cut short a bit, will be very, give them a lot of information, especially how these Continental tires are performing. Where they are on overall lap times, how we've seen braking issues already. This track is very hard on brakes. And as we rejoin ST, of course, we had a mix of pit stops there that did shuffle the order a little. But one thing remains constant here is they're just flat out.
And the teams will also take a guess into how many full course cautions they're going to get. Last year, there were 6 in this race. Here we are nearly an hour into the event, and we've had just 1.
And that's where, like the 26 car, they made that strategy call, waited for the 45-minute mark. They got Andrew Carbonell in. You get a yellow, he's a quick young driver, he's all stacked back up, he's full of fuel. With enough yellow, they could maybe stretch it. Those ST cars typically go anywhere from like an hour and 15 to an hour and 25, and there was like an hour and 40 minutes left on the board when we went back to green. So they're going to be close. So it could come back to them a little bit. And these are the calls you have to make when you're in the thick of a championship.
Justin Piscatell, he looked very aggressive and sporty before that yellow. I think he was starting to unsettle his car a bit by pushing so hard. He had the speed and he was getting a little frustrated, but now he is able to sort of push with a clear track in front. But if you notice, Chad Gilsing is right behind, and I think once that spot, and we've watched actually Chad, oh, look, that's all the way through. That is called a dividing the moment.
Corner. That's turning the corner in a series of straight lines.
Yeah.
It's Rodriguez there, and they've had a pretty strong season. That's a little mechanical gremlins, but 2 wins on the year in that very competitive ST class. That came in will be a factor here today, and we've got Spencer Pompelli, who's one of the best in the business, to close it out. But up ahead, I think that 93 car looks awfully tough, as you're alluding to, Justin, and with Ryan Eversley going to climb aboard that car, he could be a tough man to beat here this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely that Honda looks really quick in the middle, sort of as they get to the top end of their terminal speed on the back straight. It looks that's where they come into their own, certainly in the first stint. He seems to be able to have a very, you know, what's interesting about the kink, it's a question of how little do you lift. And it's fun when we listen to the in-car, you can hear the amount of lift they have. And right now, for those on fresh tires, it won't be very much.
Well, the Mazda's a really good handling car, and a lot of it is the gear ratios, the stock gear ratios in the various different manufacturers that'll be suited through some corners in terms of the torque curve of the engine and stuff, but certainly down these long straightaways, that 93, the Civic, yes, it was getting by guys, and also when that Mazda was behind him, he wasn't able to pass, so that's very strong in terms of that terminal speed at the end of the straights.
Well, let's get more on the strategy of that hot rum bum 911 Porsche. Brian.
Plum doing a great job on the racetrack right now. Matt, you'll be getting in, but think back to Lime Rock Park, and I know that is not the weekend that you guys wanted. How do you put that behind you? How do you leave it in the past and focus forward?
You know, we do just that. We just put it behind us. It was an unfortunate deal. We've had long chats with the Stevenson guys. I fully believe there was absolutely zero intention to do so. And, you know, we've all had those moments. So we gotta, the sooner we can resolve that, the sooner we can move forward. And as you can see, it's working. You know, I always laugh because at the beginning of these weekends, I say, Joe, what do you think? We got a good car? And he said, well, Matt, it's either going to be really, really fast or it's going to be really, really slow. And luckily, it's the former. Got to tip my hat to Hugh. I hate to do it because he's my older brother, but he's doing an amazing job. He's like a Jack Russell on a tennis ball, and with everything that comes with that analogy. So we just are happy to be here. We're happy to be in Wisconsin. We've got the Bacardis here cheering us on, so it's special. Got a lot of racing to do. We'll see what the pace looks like at the end.
They got a very fast Porsche right now. He said the Bacardis are here. Jennifer Bacardi, Lewis's wife, she's from just Madison, just a few miles over to the west. So kind of a little bit of a family reunion here in Wisconsin.
Thanks, Brian. Joe, of course, is Joe Vardy, a terrific driver in his day and now a great team manager and strategist. Long way to go here at Road America, so stand by. There's Joe. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the Continental Tire SportsCar Showcase here at Road America. Continental Tire is the official tire of the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge, round number 7 of 10 in the 2015 season. There you see Hugh Plum flying as he has been from the start of this race. He's the leader. Let's get you up to speed. The Nissans neglected to pit under the yellow, so they made this stop just a few moments ago. Brad Jager getting out, BJ Zacharias getting in.
Shortly thereafter, Scott Maxwell hits pit lane. He and Billy Johnson looking for their second consecutive race victory here today.
Moments ago, car number 87 took a wide line through the carousel.
And the only way to get out of the beach is to keep your foot in it, I think, Bob. And he rejoins, and no harm, no foul.
That was Matt Pombo doing the honors. Same point of the racetrack, into the carousel. Pick up the battle in Street Tuner.
It's not a battle for position we're looking at right there, but we are looking at the leader, Justin Piscatel, in that maroon-colored Mazda. Certainly has got a lot of pace here today. You can see Chad Gilsinger has dropped back a couple of seconds here as they've negotiated through traffic and the various battles on the road as well.
There's the 93 looking ahead at the class leader.
Yeah, they have the pace. The 93, that Civic has the pace out there. But I tell you what, right now, Piscatel, he has looked mighty fierce every lap of this race, and now he doesn't have to worry about overtaking necessarily someone for position. I think he can maintain, if not stretch, that lead.
Third and fourth place. Jeff Mosing and Chad McCumbee in the orange and blue cars, respectively. Porsche and a Mazda MX-5.
The guys who are chasing that 5 car in the championship, the 26 car, Liam Dwyer and Andrew Carbonell. Carbonell down in the 16th spot. Obviously a very different strategy in terms of what they did with Liam Dwyer, waiting for that green flag to bring him in, get to the 45-minute mark, get the driver change done. They need a yellow, really, to get back in the game.
Flashing across start-finish on that long 4,400-foot front straightaway here at Road America. Gently for the ST leader. Here's our GS leader, Hugh Plum, simply took off like a scalded cat at the start of this race, much to the pride of his younger brother, we heard from earlier.
Yeah, this is a dynamic duo here this year. I mean, bringing Hugh into this squad as the lead-out driver, he's done a great job, and I think he seems to gain confidence week in and week out as he's showing. But don't count out this four-line team, the local team here. They're looking really strong. Ashley Freiberg has done a tremendous opening stint here. She holds down the second spot. And the local guy, even more local, Nicholas Hammond, one of the gamers from the GT Academy, is running in third spot. He's right here from here in Elkhart Lake.
That was a great graphic that just came up. Ashley ran 9/10 of a second quicker than Hugh did on that last lap. So definitely the full-line car has some great pace right now. But Hugh Plum, like I said, the whole team, everyone involved, was very motivated and ready to make the statement this weekend.
You mentioned redemption earlier with regard to the rum bum number 13. Ashley Freiberg and that number 46 fall line BMW also has a point to prove this weekend. We'll take you back to Lime Rock. Opening lap of the race. Watch just to the left of the line of cars. There goes Ashley. Bumped off the track and a heavy impact with the tire wall.
Yeah, a lot of damage. That BMW team working extremely hard to get the car back in action. There you see it. But they've done an effective repair, and I think this car is very well suited to this racetrack as it's showing right now.
Trent Hinman take the controls and bring the number 46 Trim Tex car to the finish. We're going to take another break and return to Road America and more of the Continental Tire Road Race Showcase. Welcome back to Road America. Moments ago, you see the number 41 Nissan in the hands of Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin native Nick Hammond chasing Hugh Plum in the number 13 Rum Bum Porsche that has basically dominated the Grand Sport class thus far in the Continental Tire Sports Car Showcase. But moments ago, Hammond made the pass.
Yeah, he's just been putting in some great laps, 7/10 quicker than the Rum Bum machine, and there you see it coming out of 12, out of Canada corner to the front. What a performance.
Yeah, he made that stick, and that's not easy to do coming out of that little sequence there. And coming down last corner onto the straight, didn't want to lose the advantage.
Picking up the ST class race.
Ryan Eversley there, the 93 car, currently shown in the 4th spot, and some other cars ahead of them, but they're on a slightly different fuel strategy. They're going to need help to get to the finish. So I think Ryan is really the effective leader in terms of guys who can get to the checkered flag without another pit stop.
Danny Bender still needing that pit stop driver change. Right now he is on the class lead.
So riding on board with Ryan Eversley now. Quick shout out about this car, along with quite a few others, are carrying a hashtag I'm with Drew decal down the side. Drew Leathers, ambassador for Eurofibromatosis, the NF charity that Jill Beck and her whole team support racing with. Drivers are behind it. Amazing charity. Drew is unfortunately on sort of the last laps of his particular race right now, and he is having a funeral this afternoon. He decided, as he was talking about going into hospice, that he didn't want everyone to have a rip-roaring time in celebration of his life. He wanted to be there for the party. So right now he is having a party in Atlanta. So I think everyone here at Road America will hold a glass of champagne up, even if it's only in our imaginations, for Drew Leathers. An inspiration, amazing man. And of course, if Ryan Eversley and other cars carrying the decal can make it to the finish and put on a good show, that would be a pretty fitting tribute.
Indeed. Right now Ryan Eversley shown in 4th in class.
Who's on his tail now?
That Civic
Andrew
SI.
Carbonell, but they're
right.
definitely going to need a little bit of help on fuel, I would think. They're going to be on fumes, if not at the finish.
Brian Till.
Down in the 93 pit with Chad Gilsinger. We're just talking about Ryan Eversley out there. I looked through the season. The car seems to have had its best performance at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and then at Watkins Glen, where you guys had a great finish. Is it these long-flowing racetrack that the Civic has a bit of an advantage?
Yeah, we need tracks that, you know, accentuate our power a little bit, and we have good handling, but, you know, the real tight tracks just heat up our front tires too much, and we can't make them last. So tires like MOTORSPORT, Road America, hoping that VIR too, they suit the Civic really well. Ryan's doing an awesome job out there right now. we have enough fuel to get to the end, so we're looking for a green run, because if we can keep a gap, it really hurts us when people catch up to us, and then we have to, you know, hold them off and beat the tires up. So we're really hoping for a green run, and I think we'll be okay.
How difficult is it for you to have so many different co-drivers throughout the year and try to find a chemistry? Because I know there have been at least 3 different drivers in that car with you.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we were really sad to, you know, have Michael not be with us this year. He's really focusing on his DP ride, and they're leading the championship, so we understand. You know, Kuno got an amazing deal with Aston Martin. Fortunately, we've been picking up people that know front-wheel drive cars, so it's not too bad. Obviously, Ryan, you know, this is, you know, he feels at home now, so, you know, it's okay. I don't mind it.
The Hart team looking for a good finish here at Road America on a racetrack that they say suits them, guys.
I should say so. Michael, of course, Michael Valiente, who is in the lead in the Tudor United Sports Car Championship Prototype Division. There's a look at Josh Malecki, another local favorite, currently shown in 2nd place in class, but closing pretty quickly in that Trimtex BMW.
Yeah, and I think he's probably about 10 laps shy on fuel, so they're definitely rolling the dice here a little bit with the strategy. Anthony Lazaro started that car, so he was drafted in the last moment when Joe Koenig was still not fit enough to take the seat.
Well, let's get you up to speed on a number of pit stops that happened while we were in break. Things got busy in the lane. Begin with number 93.
Yeah, and these guys are right in the sweet spot in terms of being able to get to the finish, and Chad Gilsinger talked about it. We need a good long green flag run, and there you see him coming out. The 5 car, they had to have a look underneath. I thought I saw some smoke emanating from the rear end of this little MX-5, and certainly they did a quick fix there. You see the jack stand under there, see a little leak. They send him back. 56 are having a great run, Justin.
Yeah, they've been fast. They were probably running just out of the top 3 when they came in, but that's still a car to watch.
Currently shown in 6th, and here is the 34.
This was not a smooth pit stop. A little bit of a delay ultimately on the right rear corner. Cost them many seconds on pit lane. They're having to dig deep now to get to the front of the pack.
Moments ago, the 5 and 87 car disputing pretty much the same piece of racetrack down into turn 8 and into the carousel, and that got more violent than
you're the championship leader, Bob. You don't need moments like that.
Absolutely.
And especially 2 wheels on this grass right now is not confidence inspiring, because we had so much rain yesterday. You don't have any idea what's offline there.
Here's the battle in GS and for the overall lead. Something Chad Gilsinger said reminded me that one of the real charms of production-based car racing like this is that the performance envelope you and your team can exploit is pretty much defined by what was engineered into the car you find on your local dealer showroom floor. So watching these cars go around, lifting the wheel at the front or the back, front drive, rear drive, the body roll in the corners, is because they are based on the cars that we all drive. And that can be, I would think, perhaps an even bigger challenge in some ways for a professional racing driver than a purpose-built racing car. To Jamie.
Well, Bob, one great story is out of Body Motion Racing, that number 31, running 17th right now. But Jason Ray, just your story to get here into the series for this full season. You slept in your car, you were a flagman. Talk me through this process.
Yeah, it's a long time coming. You know, this is all I ever want to do. It's all I eat, breathe, and sleep. Racing's my love, my passion, and I'll do anything to be in the seat of a race car. So it's, you know, a lot of times you just wanted to give up and quit, but I just kept forward and just kept my head in the game, and now I'm doing a pretty cool interview with you. So
there are a million kids out there right now sitting on their couch thinking, gosh, I'd really like to be a race car driver too. What advice do you have for them?
Yeah, you know, and I was always the kid in school that was just like, well, you know, everyone says follow your dreams, you can do whatever you want to do, and I always said, that's impossible. So I'm living proof, I guess, of nothing's impossible. Never give up on your dreams and pursue that passion that, you know, burns down deep.
All right, it's cool to see you out here. Thank you.
Real quick, can I say hi to Delaware Investments, Monticello Motor Club. Hope you guys are watching back at the clubhouse.
He's got this figured out, guys. He got the sponsors in.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, either you sleep in the back of a car or you play a video game, don't you? Because right at the front of this field, Nicolas Hammann there, you know, he's one of those Nissan drivers that have come on his way through. The world of motorsport and the ladder you take, Calvin, has changed so dramatically. You work with so many drivers. It's about money, it's about opportunity, and it's about taking risk, isn't it?
And these gamers have been so impressive that Nissan have brought into their various racing programs. And I really believe when you're driving a car with a lot of downforce, you can make that transition, turn the wheel, the car points and goes. But when you're dealing with essentially a showroom stock car, what these guys are showing really, really impresses me. You got body roll. You don't have that when you're sitting behind your desk with a game machine,
no,
right?
Only if you're sitting on a sofa.
Very different. Yes.
If you're sitting on a sofa, you're preparing for GT, all right?
And your neck is not on the line. Folks enjoying themselves. Boy, after all the rain we had yesterday, it's nice to see the sun trying to poke through here and there. Here's the number 15 GT 350 RC. We'll take a break. Let you know if anything untoward happens, and we'll be back with more of the Continental Tire Sports Car Showcase here at Road America. Over its 60 years, Road America has seen most of the greatest names and machines in motor racing history. How many of these faces do you recognize in their younger days? There are the iconic McLaren Can Am cars. In '67, Bruce McLaren brought his M6A here with an aluminum 6-liter Chevy V8 engine and took a mere 10 seconds off of the lap record.
Wow, innovation, right? Fast pace back then.
Yep, Nick Hammond disappears over the brow. Hugh Plum follows. Let's get you up to speed. Problems for the number 88 Porsche. They decided to set the car out there, but down in turn 1, driver Ruben Pardo realized he had a terminal problem. No yellow flag. 15 came in. It's been one of the dominant cars, the GT350 RC. But there is a broken exhaust, we understand, and that car has gone back into the paddock.
That team going for 3 in a row. Looks like it's going to be a much tougher road for them today. And there we see the other car from Multimatic in a fierce battle with the Stevens and Camaros. Jade Buford losing a couple of spots right there.
Boy, that is close. Back to live pictures now. Number 21 of Josh Bilicki leads in Street Tuner.
Big day for Trimtex. They lead in ST and running 3rd. Potential podium spot with Ashley Freiberg, who still hasn't turned it over to Trent Hinman. Remember, with that caution and the timing of that, a lot of the leading GS cars pitted after about 30 minutes, so they're getting pretty close to probably needing to make that second stop of the day and getting that final driver in.
Drive by Ashley. On board with Ryan Eversley in the 93 Hart Civic SI.
He's running about the last lap a second and a half quicker than the class leader. So we were speculating that when he got in, we thought this car would be at its full potential, and Ryan's certainly a front-wheel drive expert, and you know, he works so hard to get behind the wheel that when he does, he kind of explodes into action, and it's great. But I tell you what, this local boy Josh Bilicki in this 21, it's a nice run. The cars look good, Calvin. It'll be interesting to see when Ryan catches him up. It's going to take him a few laps to do it. But it'll be interesting to see if Ryan uses too much energy up on the way to the party, so to speak.
Yeah, and when Josh got that ride this week, there's a lot of chatter on social media about what a great young driver he is. So certainly people recognize his talent and believe it's a great opportunity for him. He's grabbed it with both hands, but I really think fuel strategy-wise, they're probably a little bit behind the curve.
Number 13 is in the pits.
54 minutes to go, so this is right in their fuel window.
This is a very long pit lane, and we often talk about how the pit lane speed limit of about 37 miles an hour has got to be agony for the drivers. It's especially agonizing here. Brian.
Yeah, you talk about how long the pit lane is, and that speed limit starts well before the bridge. Got to feel like an eternity. The 158 comes in as well. Austin Cindric will take over the 158 Shelby GT350 RC, but Matt Plum, I'm behind the wheel of the 13. These races can be won and lost. Down here in the pit lane, 4 new Continental tires going on the rum bump Porsche. Expect to see the same thing in Multimatic with Austin Cindric taking over. Plum away.
So Matt Plum takes over for brother Hugh. Look at the size of that pit lane.
Yeah, it costs you over 40 seconds, the delta between staying on racetrack and running the length of this pit lane. at 60 kilometers an hour, so that's a big deficit, but everyone has to do it, so you just got to make sure you make the right call.
Could land an airplane on that thing.
Yeah, that was even though they have a driver assistant there, in case you thought there were 3 drivers, there wasn't. He's literally had that. Brian, what's the story of the 158? That was obviously their scheduled pit stop. No issues?
No issues for Continental Tires. Austin Cindric takes over. You cannot help but be impressed by that young man. You think about all the laps that he led, winning there at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, 16 years old. He said he had just a handful of laps because of the weather this weekend. He said, and they're going to let me finish. So he's going to go out and not only try to take that Mustang to the front, but it's on a racetrack that he barely even knows.
Another terrific young driver, and you saw one standing there, helmet on, ready to take over from Ashley Freiberg. That is Trent Hinman, the reigning GS champion, and he, I believe, is still a teenager.
Yeah, he's a really impressive young man. Certainly caught the eye of BMW Motorsport, who's supporting him heavily right now.
Last year's race winner, Terry Borcheller,
yeah, he's off the pace.
The 23 car appears to be, quite a bit off the pace.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great shootout at the end here. Certainly Hammann's doing a great job leading in the 41 Nissan right now, but Ashley's only a few seconds behind, and Trent Hinman's going to jump in behind the wheel of the 4-line machine here shortly, and then they got the Camaros definitely in the mix, and Cindric now back out there. Here come the Camaros.
Stevens, obviously one of those teams that can handle both team cars coming in at one time. Such a professional outfit. But this is an important pit stop because they cannot afford to lose much right now.
Hinman sliding in there. A bit of grease in his pit box there as he throws the seat insert out, jumps in.
Giving the mechanics lots of room to change the right side tires when the time comes, Brian.
And we said the race is on pit lane. It is right now. Both Stevenson Camaros are in as Ashley Freiberg tries to get that driver's net set here on the BMW. Hinman getting the belts on, fuel going in. They'll get this BMW back on track, Jamie.
And both the 6 and the 9 stop now. So Andrew Davis out of the number 6. Robin Liddell climbing in. Lawson Aschenbach taking over duties in the 9 for Matt Bell. The cars off of the jacks on the left-hand side at the exact same time. These pit stops are so choreographed. It's going to be a race off of pit lane between these 2 team cars. You guys mentioned the professional outfit. They record every single pit stop. They actually go back and watch them. So the team went back, watched what happened to that number 9. It did fall off of the jacks. 6 car had the tires done sooner, but these cars are thirsty around here, so fuel is still going in.
Saw the 09. See that black and yellow Aston Martin back there. Charlie Putman pitting. Charles Espenlaub will take over. 6 different manufacturers in each of the Grand Sport and Street Tuner classes in the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. Plenty of racing still to come. 50 minutes to be precise. We'll be back to Road America in just a moment. Back at Road America in the Continental Tire Road Race Showcase. Bob Varsha, along with Justin Bell, Calvin Fish, Brian Till, Jamie Howe, race leader Nicholas Hammann comes in.
What a job he's done. A little bit of a problem there with the jack. Couldn't quite get the left rear on quickly, but typically the refueling is going to take a little bit longer. The real question is going to be, where is that run bump machine? BJ Zacharias will probably go to the front, but here comes the run bump machine down the front straightaway, I think. No, that's not it. It's a blue hood. Here he comes. Yeah. So,
Stephen Doherty is still getting a tire change.
Yeah, so a great outlap, I think, by Matt Plum. Certainly, he got going really quickly and has taken advantage of the situation. So Doherty's got some work to do.
I mean, the car has the pace. We saw it. I mean, both Nissans have the pace out there. He's got to really lay it down now, as though this was a Formula car race, because I think the end of this race, as you just see,
Hinman go by 2.
So losing position, but he is going to have 1 lap fresher tires than the other guys. He's just got to get up to speed real quick.
And credit Nissan and their GT Academy program for putting young, inexperienced, but talented drivers in, at the deep end. I mean, they're racing with some really, really fine drivers and teams here at Road America.
BJ Zacharias should rotate here once we cycle through time, and scoring to the front in the other Nissan, but he's going to need another stop today.
A lot of congratulations for Nick Hammann.
Awesome job, mate. That was really cool. Okay, so everyone's getting these final pit stops done. So Zacharias will lead. Plum will be up to second, Hinman third, and this man Doherty right there in the mix. Not sure where the Camaros are. They're probably not far behind, I would think.
Stephen Doherty was the 2012 U.S. winner of the Nissan Nismo GT Academy. But let's hear from the man of the hour. The local favorite is with Jamie.
It was Nick Hammond who had that great opening stick. Nick, as a local, from going from gaming to here at Road America, what was this experience like?
It was just incredible. Last year I sat from the stands at turn 6, and then I heard about this GT Academy program, and it's an idea that if you have enough drive and determination, you can go from virtual to reality. And everyone at Doran Racing and Nissan have just given me a great opportunity. It's awesome to race at home, so I'm just so thankful, and hopefully Steve can bring it home.
From the time you won the gaming championship until now, what has the process been like to get comfortable behind the wheel of an actual race car?
All the instructors kind of over in England are very good, and those are the guys that really get a lot of credit for doing very well.
I know you're exhausted. That was a great opening stint, though. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Trouble indeed for the number 9 from Stevenson Motorsports. That Camaro Z28R smoking heavily. Full course caution, our second.
But really smart thinking there. Experience counted there. Lawson Ash back behind the wheel. He knew by being on the outside there, Calvin, he was on the wrong side of the track to get, if he could make it on the inside to one of the cutouts. Not knowing whether his car was going to terminate like it obviously has, but he looked in his mirror, cut across to the inside of the track. Oh, look at that.
Oh. I think he popped a motor.
Yeah.
Some kind of mechanical failure.
Involving oil, fluids.
Something flammable.
Yeah. So he's getting it in the face, in the cockpit. Great shot there from our cameraman.
Well, the Porsche Rapid Response Vehicle is on the scene. Meanwhile, here's Brian in the pit lane.
Down in the Multimatic camp, both the 15 and the 158 had good runs going earlier. The 15 with problems, though. Scott, we know that you had some brake issues in the car, but that's not what sent the car behind the wall. What's up?
No, I think we had an exhaust problem. We didn't really have the pace today, but ironically, I spent a whole session out there yesterday on old tires, and we thought we had a good end of stint car, and after that yellow, the car came alive, but and Billy was doing a good job. I think at best we were maybe a podium car day, but I think we've got an exhaust problem, but they're going to work on it. New car problems, we knew they'd start to, surface eventually. We had 2 or 3 good races. Goes around, comes around. We'll be fine. We'll be out at the next one, ready to try to win another.
Yeah, both of these cars have seen the checkered flag in victory lane. And Jade Buford, you just handed over to Austin Cindric. You ran around the Camaros, the Porsche, the BMW. What's this Mustang have? What's the Shelby GT350 have for those other makes?
Well, today's kind of unfortunate. Usually we have a very strong car because we have a strong team. But today I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle. I was fighting with my brakes, trying to save a little for Austin to go to the end. But the only people that we seem to be able to race today were the Camaros. The BMW and the Nissan and the Porsche are just on another level today. But we'll be back at VIR. Hopefully we'll be stronger, and should be back to victory lane before too long.
Like we said, both of those cars have seen victory lane, and they're looking for another win. They'd like to get it here at Road America, Bob.
Indeed. Virginia International Raceway, the next stop. Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge. More on that later in the day. Right now, we'll take a break and return to Road America. Welcome back to Road America. Pit stop action continuing after our second full course caution. There you see the number 14 pitting from the race lead, BJ Zacharias. Jamie's there.
And this will be their last pit stop just to get them to the end of the race. Number 21, the ST leader, came in as well. They did fuel only, whereas the 14 is taking 4 new Continental tires as well.
Well, I think the problem for the ST car, that was emergency service. I think it's GS only right now, so they were running on fumes and had to hit pit lane. Otherwise, they were going to run out. She just got caught out with that yellow, I believe, Jamie.
Well, while we're under a full course caution, it's time for our Continental Tire For What You Do feature. Today featuring Mark Miller, a man who's not about to let life's challenges ruin the opportunity for making some great family memories.
You know, if you do follow me on social media, you know I'm very family-oriented, but not everyone knows that one of my sons has autism, and I'm a big proponent for autism awareness. Trust me, there's lots of people out there that have autism, and they are remarkable, smart, intelligent, loving, caring, funny people. I couldn't have asked for a better group of teammates. We go to some of these tracks, and we fly in on Tuesday, and then we get out there, and then we're like, hey, so what do we do today? One of our teammates was like, well, I'd love to go golfing, and we all just kind of rallied around this golfing idea, and we're like, let's go to Goodwill. So we set a time limit of 5 minutes, and it was like a race through there, and we're picking out clothes for each other. And we went to the golf course, and when we walked out of our hotel room, I thought we were gonna get kicked out before we even got there. They knew trouble was coming. And we spent most of the time trying to get the golf carts back out of the weeds.
Still better dressed than Lee Diffie on a golf course.
Had a feeling you might go there. It's been a big year for Mark Miller, including his first run at the legendary 24 Hours of Le Mans this year. Hopefully we'll all be back there many years to come. Another break coming up here in the Midlands of Wisconsin. Stay with us.
Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge action continuing from Road America. Ashley Freiberg just climbing out of the 46 a little while ago. You think back to the last race at Lime Rock Park, and I know it's not one that you want to dwell on, but you look at the way the car ran today. Redemption sometimes makes up for some of that bad luck, yeah?
Oh, totally. And huge, huge thank you to everybody at Fall Line Motorsports. I know these guys worked their tails off to get this car back together, and I have to tell you, it's a missile. Like, everybody's on fire. Everybody's so determined to get that win. I mean, the pit stops were absolutely on point, so huge thank you to everybody at Fall Line.
Yeah, the car working extremely well, and now Trent Hinman has his sights set on a win here at Road America, Bob.
Yeah, Ashley's got to be feeling pretty good about her chances right now with the reigning series champion now driving that missile of a BMW in second place.
Matt Plum's not going to give it up easy. He realized that their only way back into this championship chase is to get the biggest points possible, which is obviously the win here today. Looking at their best lap times, they both set them on lap 40 of this motor race, with Matt Plum about 3.5 tenths quicker than Trent Hinman. So they've both got pace in the 223 range. And right now, Plum may have the upper hand. We'll have to wait and see.
Word from the Stevenson Camaro pits is that the 9 car did in fact launch an engine. That was the reason for our second full course caution, which is about to end. Lights are out on the Camaro pace car. Matt Plum leads Trent Hinman up the hill as we get set to go green.
Yeah, he got out of that last corner really well there. Matt, of course, controls the pace.
Watch Doherty there.
Look at Doherty,
got
yes.
to run. Wow. Hinman did not get a good restart, a good shot off of 14. He's going to try and hold that inside line. You know, Hinman's going to have to be very brave here on the brake and try and maintain that second spot if he's going to go after the run bump car.
Oh, he's holding his line around the outside. He knows there's a bit of runoff there. Very nice.
Robin Liddell. Yeah, the points leading number 6 Stevenson Camaro.
Hey, Tommy, he needs to be smart here with the championship lead the way it is. So don't be drawn into this unless you need to.
That is great side-by-side driving. That is fantastic. Doherty, Hinman going down. This is very fast now. This is extremely fast as they squeeze themselves to the right. The downhill braking here. Who will brake best? My money's on the Nissan.
About 140 miles an hour through the trees, perhaps heavy braking downhill.
Cindric all over the tail of Robin Liddell as well as Espinlab, and the Aston Martin sits there in the 6th spot, the 09.
Before the restart, I was about to say we've got 2 great stories going on. Matt Plum up front has to take no prisoners. He's just got to go if he and his brother are going to take the victory they need to keep their title hopes alive. Meanwhile, Robin Liddell, with whom you ride, has that points championship gap you've been talking about, Calvin. You'd think he might want to be a little bit careful, but he is taking the fight to Trent Hinman ahead of him.
While the 21, the Trimtex car is in, Jamie.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Calvin. That pit stop earlier for fuel only was emergency service. They were on their reserve tank when the yellow flag came out and pit lane closed, so they had to stop, take 5 seconds. That was their last pit stop of the race.
I have to say, I think that Robin Liddell, the whole Stevenson Motorsport team, have run very smart here. I was saying they were maybe a bit too cautious earlier, but right now they've survived this long in the race. They're able to now take advantage of the position of the strength. I know they don't have the ultimate top speed right now with the performance situation, but they are very quick and very strong as they come into the end.
We see BJ Zacharias in the number 14 car exit Canada corner. Kyle Marcelli looks like he made a move on him there. So BJ, the last of the front runners to pit, just on a slightly different strategy. They didn't take that early yellow, about 30 minutes to fill him up, and now he's on the back foot a little bit.
Time remaining in the upper left of your screen.
Team Atlanta are battling ST. Ryan Eversley against Spencer Pumpelly. Big buddies. If one of them wins, they go out and celebrate on a Monday night in Atlanta. This will have a few beers to be talking about.
I mean, Ryan was very, before the full course yellow, he looked very strong, but we did say Spencer was on the charge, and I think he made the most of the restart there to get by. But look, Eversley's not giving up. He's diving to the inside going into turn one. Good stuff.
Oh, couldn't get it done.
And Eric Foss as well. A lot of his time in Atlanta as well.
I mean, this is, let me put into perspective what it's like being in an ST car is right now, as you come down, Eversley's in the lead and Spencer is all over him behind. Obviously gets up the inside, I would imagine, here.
Yeah, I think Ryan just took the narrow line down into turn 5 to protect and suddenly opened up the door. Into turn 6, there it is, completes the pass. A lot of respect between these two guys, so they'll run hard, but they'll keep it clean. Side by side in 7. It's a tricky corner, kind of off cam. You get through there, and suddenly you don't have the grip halfway through the corner when you need it.
About 175 feet of elevation change around this racetrack.
What I was about to say is, put it in context, it's imagine being in a boxing fight, meanwhile you're concentrating on the guy in front, meanwhile someone behind's punching you in the back of the head. It's really, that's exactly what like the ST and GS racing's all about. You're focused on the guy in front, meanwhile someone's trying to attack you from behind. This is, you have to have eyes in the back of your head.
Thanks for that image.
And fists.
Forgetting that. Through the carousel, this endless widening radius corner with a little downhill thrown in.
Oh, and Trinkler's, that car's been looking good, hasn't it, Calvin, all the time, and he's looking mighty sporty right now.
Second of the Hart cars there, driven by Kevin Bowman, then Trinkler's putting the pressure on there. Very impressive run of results recently for Trinkler and Catania.
I mean, just, I hope, sorry, Bob, I was just going to say, you see these cars on the exit, they look so magnificent. When you see a front-wheel drive car, and the front-wheel drive, as you said, Calvin, they're driving it, they're steering it, all the energy and dynamics are going through it, and yet the rear is just breaking away as they reach the exit, tracking out. That is a fast-paced front-wheel drive car.
Climbing the hill past the former side of the Billy Mitchell Bridge that disappeared in the most recent renovation. Nick Longy in the Rum Bum pits, fingers crossed, they're right where they need to be. First place. Stay with us. Less than 20 minutes remaining in round 7 of the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge here at Road America. Great battle here as reigning series champion in GS Trent Hidman looks in his rearview mirror as the two Nissan teammates battle.
Yeah, they switch right there as BJ Zacharias on much fresher rubber. This yellow has really put him right back in the game. It's a questionable strategy there initially, but now with that yellow and fresher rubber, he's got a very fast car. Just set the fastest lap of the race at a 2:23.0. 3 or 4 tenths quicker than our leader right now. So if he can clear Hinman, maybe he can make a run of Matt Plum in the lead.
I bet Hugh is telling Matt on the radio, you know, don't look in your mirrors, but if you do, you're going to see Trent Hinman behind, but that's not the issue. The fight is coming to you with BJ Zacharias coming up really quick. So
well, Matt Plum up ahead in that Rum Bum Porsche is racing history. If he can win this race with brother Hugh and the Rum Bum team, he will become the winningest driver in series history, breaking a tie with Sylvain Tremblay with his 21st career victory.
But I tell you what, Trent's not giving it up easy there, is he? And you know, it's like, Calvin, you get a bit of momentum going, which Zacharias certainly had. You don't want that momentum to be stalled. Your new tires, your fresher tires are only good for so long to give you that edge. He's got to make the move right now. Look at him, he's setting up coming through 14 to get a good shot. This is uphill. as you said, they don't have the option or the luxury of changing gear ratios here. So is the Nissan's better coming out of there? Is the BMW's better? It looks right now like the Nissan comes off, launches off 14 better as they come out. He's got to go the long way around though, Cal.
He's got to run though, and we saw this side by side with the sister car. Hinman try to get late on the brakes, maintain the position. Can he do it? They went side by side, but no, I think Hinman's going to keep it.
He's got to keep the momentum through it. Oh, as he pushes him. Oh, I would say that was an unwinding of the steering wheel done with a little generosity
but
there.
But it's fair play to him, and look at this.
Whoa,
Doherty down the outside. Inside does a slide job on his teammate. We'd heard there was some radio communication from BJ Zacharias to basically say, my teammate needs to stop blocking me, otherwise I'm going to take it into my own hands, so.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Look, he's in the grass.
Yeah. You know, they won't win the race if they do that for too much. I've got, you know, unofficial betting on the fact that car can get to the front, Cal.
What I was going to say on Hinman, though, when he realized that Doherty was alongside, he ran side by side through turn one. He cleared him a little bit more with BJ, so I think he had the right to wash out and use all of the road there on exit.
Back to the ST battle now.
Spencer's taken off a little bit. We knew he had a lot of pace when he was driving his way through the field. Looked like he had about second in hand over Eversley, but he's feeling the heat from Eric Foss right now.
Yeah, that's what's really caused Eversley to drop back, not just the fact that Spencer's on a charge, but I think it's so easy for that Cayman to give a lot of aggro. Jamie?
Well, Kevin Doran watching on. Kevin, as we see your two cars battle out there, maybe some contact, maybe not. What goes through your mind as a team owner?
Well, it's not a happy day when your two drivers can't work together for the good of the whole. But cars are running good, Nissans are good, and there's still a little time left, so let's see what happens.
You can see the frustration on his face, guys.
I mean, he's only been around since, you know, the handbrakes on the outside and you wore leather helmets. He knows, he's seen it all. He's dealt with some of the
races for your old man, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about leather helmets. You know, but they literally have been. You know, he's seen every driver, some of the best drivers in the world, some of the most temperamental, some of the most flamboyant at this track over the years. And he won't take, you know, he's right. That was not, you know, not good team etiquette. But I have to say that Zacharias has regrouped and is once again launching this attack on the BMW.
And this is huge for Matt Plum, the fact that Hinman is defending quite rightly but pretty vigorously here and is really allowing Matt Plum to maintain that lead. But I tell you what, if Zacharias can somehow find his way by with just over 15 minutes on the board, don't count him out.
Different technique now, up and under. He took out wide, he goes down the inside. Not so easy to do there, but he is, I would say, more controlled right, in a better position. It's not on the back foot, if you like, coming down the back straight. He can brake later, going down into turn 5. He just has to position himself on the inside.
BJ Zacharias celebrated a birthday this weekend.
His own?
His own.
Okay, that's good.
That's the preferable way.
ST battle has settled down a little bit. Spencer Pumpelly, a healthy lead right now over Ryan Eversley, and Eversley has got a little bit of a cushion now over Eric Foss, but Trinkler's right there in the mix. Starting to put the pressure on the 56 car.
Well, all credit to that Rennsport 1 outfit, Spencer Pumpelly and Luis Rodriguez Jr. Rodriguez is a rookie this year. His first race was at Daytona International Speedway. I mean, talk about making your debut in Yankee Stadium. And they won.
It just ruins your whole career to do that. You know, where do you go? I ask myself.
Piece of cake.
It just isn't. You know, these young guys with all this success, are they happy? I ask myself.
Yes,
like
they're
when you win
very
Daytona.
happy.
They're really happy.
When you win the Daytona 24 on your first go, you think, oh, that was easy.
That was easy.
And
This racing thing, I should have started when I was 16, not 17.
Then they won at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, one of the more fearsome racetracks in North America.
31 points out of the lead right now in the championship, but they go on a run here and score some victories. With the field being so deep in ST, certainly if one of the leaders, championship leaders or contenders has a bad day, they can lose a lot of points and it can be a big swing.
Hinman getting closer to the Porsche, it appears.
That's not the car. If you actually, that was a little confusing there. That is actually Josh Bilicki, who is lying in 31st right now. I agreed. I suddenly thought the BMW had just gained 3 seconds on him, but he could actually really, literally hinder Zacharias' progress here, but no, he's letting him by.
Actually, everybody's getting close to everybody up there.
Very
We now
nice.
coming up on 13 minutes to go in the race.
Yeah, and that lead now is just under 3 seconds. I think this is going to be the telltale lap in terms of what BJ Zacharias can do in terms of lap time compared to Matt Plum, and ultimately what it does to the lead. 2.87 seconds is the lead right now. We'll monitor this over the next 4 miles and see if he can cut into that lead.
He's got to keep his head down, just not let Hinman pass again.
Yeah,
but
ideally he needs a few more car lengths so he can just do his thing and run his lap time, because if Hinman starts attacking again, it's going to make it really difficult.
Okay, as you say, this is the next 3-4 laps that are going to be very important. But of course, Matt in the car, the two brothers working so closely together. So Brian, has Hugh been giving any advice down from the pits?
Hugh's watching Matt out there on the racetrack, and I don't know if he's just watching that Rum-Bum Porsche run alone by itself, or are you concentrating on the battle that's going on behind? Nissan looks very quick.
What a battle Trent is putting on. I mean, you know, this is exactly what Rum-Bum does the best. We get out in front, we stay there. You know, we got Lou Picardi here and his wife Jen, all the Rum-Bum guys do an amazing job, and this is exactly where we should be. This is hopefully a little redemption after Lime Rock.
Sounds like a common word. We talked to Ashley Freiberg about the exact same thing. Hugh Plum and Matt Plum trying to put Matt in the record books for the winningest driver in Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge history. Jamie?
Well, Luis Rodriguez Jr. in his first season of competition, and Luis, going for your third win of the season here today at Road America, what does that mean to you?
It has been a dream come true of a season. It's after yesterday and stuff in practice. I had a little bit of a mistake, and then after that, I have the best team here in the paddock. So like it's RS1 has fixed my car, and it's back to normal. And so like it feels amazing to see Spencer up there in the lead.
It's been great to see you guys gaining momentum all season long. Thank you.
Down to 11 minutes, 10 seconds and change to the checkered flag here at Road America. Stand by for more Elkhart Lake. Ready to take you to the checkered flag here in round 7 of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. I'm Bob Barsha with Calvin Fish, Justin Bell, Jamie Howe, and Brian Till. Here's our Continental Tire recap. Right now, Matt Plum in that beautiful blue and yellow Rum-Bum Porsche leads the class. Street Tuner and Spencer Pompelli in a decidedly more battle-worn Porsche. 2 cautions for 6 laps total. Just 3 cars officially out of the race. Less than 7 minutes remaining.
Yeah, and over the last 2 laps, BJ Zacharias has taken a complete second out of that lead. The lead last time across the stripe was 1.8, and he looks even closer still. That Nissan is coming hard.
Yeah, we knew if he got clear of sort of the aggressive traffic behind, he could start focusing on the job in front. You know, Matt's not going to hand this over, I've got to say, and we've seen that the Nissan's very good under braking, very good at the top end on the straights. But to stick the line around the outside hasn't been so easy, and certainly Matt will know how to make him take the long way around.
Here in the 93 car of Ryan Eversley has gone to the reserve pump. Sometimes they do that so you just don't get a stumble if you completely starve it off on the main fuel cell. But still a ways to go here. So as always at Road America, it's always into a fuel race at the end. And Spencer Pompelli has been on the wrong end of that a few too many times here.
Calvin, we just heard on his radio. Yeah, Bob, he's just gone on to reserves. So battle at the reserves here. Right now, Eric Foss could be looking real smart.
I think a lot of it is just the pace of play at the front of the field. They've also been putting really fast laps down, and that burns a lot more fuel, so they've got to be careful here.
And this at so much full throttle time, Calvin. I don't know, this is one of the longest circuits on full throttle that we experienced during the year, and that just burns up fuel and changes the strategy.
Unless Brian Till is driving.
Yeah, well, he gets nervous.
Downshifts down the straightaways.
Spencer Pompelli, no doubt, looking in the mirrors. How much of a gap do I have? Can I ease off the gas just that little bit?
He's got a friend behind him, but he's not going to be that friendly.
Yeah. Okay, everything in this, as always happens in both categories, the race starts to shift in these last 5 minutes. And as we go into that last 5 minutes, you have 2 a little bit laps left before you'll see the white flag to make your move.
The problem for the ST cars, by the clock, you think, oh, we only got time to do 2 more laps. The checkered flag comes out on the overall leader, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're going to have to do an extra lap. I think these guys have got 3 more laps to go.
I agree.
And that's going to be painful if you're running shy on fuel.
Yeah. Tell you, Owen Trinkler is looking very strong. Eric Voss in the Porsche. The gap has actually dropped down to 3 seconds there, Bob, from Pompelli to Eversley.
Look at this lead.
That's not called a lead,
No.
Calvin. That's called a
It's
free.
about to change.
boy.
BJ Zacharias has anything to do with it.
Fantastic stuff. But he has a lot of confidence right now because he is in this attacking position with those couple of laps to go. So right now, if I was him, I'd be focusing absolutely on either turn 1 or turn 5, wherever I feel strongest.
Well, he's got to read the pros and cons of this Porsche as well. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't really been in this position today, as in right on the tail of this car. So he's got to read the situation and figure out where am I strong, where am I weak, and where do I make the move. The other Nissan was for a while, but I don't believe that BJ has been in this position.
Also, psychologically, Matt hasn't had to defend from him either yet. So he hasn't seen the way he's been positioning himself. The other guys have seen an awful lot of this, but not him.
Battle developing for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place in ST. We expect the white flag next time by for the overall race leader, and right now that's Matt Plum. Here is Spencer Pompelli trying to take teammate Luis Rodriguez Jr. and the Rennsport 1 team to their 3rd victory of the year.
I love this stage of a race. This is when literally all your senses are firing at full capacity because you know you've got to drive the hardest you can, but you're also waiting for opportunity. Are they also on fuel reserve? Are they going to back off? Are they going to make a mistake? Right now, the 14, Zacharias is right up behind Matt Plum. Can he make this move?
Oh, we're going to have traffic up ahead.
Ooh,
the plot thickens.
Yeah, this is going to be good.
Keep in mind, Matt Plum racing not only for the victory, not only for he and his brother's place in the championship this year, but for his own special place in history as the winningest driver in the series.
Well, he's shown time and time again that he can close the deal, but I don't think he's been put in this position so often where the car behind him has a lot more pace. I mean, fastest lap to fastest lap, about half a second. That's a significant margin in this form of competition.
Look at the balance of that Nissan through the carousel there. Can he come out? That is a beautiful exit. He got on it absolutely perfectly.
Matt defends. He says, don't think about it.
Yeah, but he's going quicker through the kink. Is he going to exit the kink faster? But that traffic in front is going to come in a very, beautifully. Pull to the right, let them go by. Can he make his move down here at the end?
Canada corner.
Matt Plum there just taking that middle lane. And then the key is not to be so slow off the apex here and allow the over-under.
But what's going to happen?
Look at BJ Zacharias.
Watch the outside.
He's doing the right thing and sticking on his derriere going through here because last lap he was too far back, which meant he was too far back going into 1. He's going out wide to get the longest shot. And
a little bobble there he did it the lap before. He's not getting through 14 cleanly, and he's got a lot of ground to make up once again. Bit of breathing room for Matt Plum.
If he was closer, he would go by into turn 1. That is a costly corner for him.
I'll tell you what, these guys are okay on fuel, but that ST field, there's definitely some concerns. They have a lap and a half to go because they're about half a lap in front of this GS field, and they're not going to get lapped by those guys, I don't think. I don't think the GS class leader is going to catch Spencer Pompelli, which means he's going to have to do an extra lap on fuel.
Okay.
Oh, man. Through the carousel. Wishing the car behind him was the GS leader, but it's not.
It isn't. He's just going down the hill towards turn 5, so I don't think there's any way that Matt Plum's going to catch Spencer Pompelli when Spencer and the rest of this ST clan is going to have to do an additional lap.
Okay, as we join back up at the front of GS, the Nissan is very good. BJ Zacharias is so good going down under braking there. This is his part of the track. He has to set up either for the exit of the carousel, going down that back straight there, but he has to make it positive because you know that Matt is going to pull to the center of the road. So you have to go by on pure momentum as you're heading down the end of these straights.
You had a look around the outside when you exited.
Plum's
look
wide.
at that.
Yeah, Plum
gets
is
in
wide.
too deep.
Oh.
BJ's not close enough to take advantage. Nothing you could do here.
Quick through here, Calvin.
Yeah, this is where the Nissan is good.
Typically, there's not enough of a run down before the King to get the job done, so I think it's going to all be about Canada corner.
Come on, he's...
More traffic ahead, did we see?
Just a hint of a rear of a car, yeah.
There's Pumpelly beginning his final lap.
Side by side there, I think, with Trinkler as well for that third spot.
Oh, great driving from Matt. That Porsche is awfully wide right now. Legally wide, but
there's that battle for third. That's the final podium spot right now. Is Eversley all over the road. Look at that Civic bounce around in second.
Back to the overall. The Nissan pulls within a car length of the Porsche.
If you need to.
Come on, it's
right
traffic
with
in
you.
front. Okay, he's going to position himself. 2 cars in front.
And they're side by side.
Oh, Matt Plump's got the run.
Oh,
it's fantastic stuff.
Turn right. Good. Stay there.
Oh, yes, go to the
There,
right.
don't move.
Do not move.
Oh, wow, what a battle to the finish. And Matt and Hugh Plum will take the victory for Rumbum.
Beautiful drive from Matt. Amazing drive from Zacharias. Great. That was great racing. That was magnificent. But meanwhile, I'm sure back in ST, they're still on it.
Yep.
Great clean race and just great stuff by Matt Plum there to just defend vigorously without getting dirty. Pumpelly, does he have enough gas? His mate, Brian Eversley, is chasing him down. Great battle for third between Trinkler and Foss.
It's a long lap left. This is a long lap left as he's heading down into the carousel. I mean, Spencer's got clean air front and back, but...
I've seen Spencer Pumpelly run out literally on the exit of Canada corner on the last lap of a sports car race here a few years ago. Hopefully he doesn't have to live that again.
We saw him run out within sight of the finish at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. He knows all about that, and he never wants to see it again.
Trinkler clears Foss, looking for a podium run here. It's uphill once you exit Canada corner all the way to the checkered flag. Hopefully he doesn't cough.
One bobble and it's wrong for any of these guys. But I have to say, Spencer, he'll be just lifting off a little bit more, coasting through the corner. Right now, he can control this, but Eric Foss is not... Owen Trinkler and Eric are not finished racing right now.
Oh, no.
17.
Oh,
17's out.
No.
Spencer is out.
Happened to him in ALMS competition a handful of years ago. Here comes Ryan Eversley.
Oh, wow. From the jaws of defeat, Ryan Eversley will claim victory.
Nice job, Ryan.
Oh, my. Oh, the heartbreak. Look at Luis Rodriguez. What has happened? Wow. Stay with us. Back at Road Atlanta, where in addition to a nerve-wracking race, we have history made as Matt Plum climbs from the Rumbum Porsche. Our next stop on the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge will be Virginia International Raceway, coming your way Sunday, September 6th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1. Now to Victory Lane and Brian Till.
Matt Plum climbing out of that Rumbum Porsche, talking to his brother Hugh. He's going to get his safety equipment off and we'll get a word with him. Second win of the season, but Matt, when I look at wins, I look at win number 21 for you. Puts you as the all-time leader in wins in the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge. That's pretty amazing. The last few laps, pretty amazing as well. What was going through your mind when you saw that Nissan right there?
I was worried. I knew they had pace. They'd been doing a great job all week. Thanks to BJ, who drove me unbelievably clean. Got a little weird there at the end, but you know, we needed this win. Typically, this is the part where I say hi to Lewis and Jennifer McCarty, but they're here, and I couldn't ask for anything more.
Congratulations on the victory. Let's go to Jamie.
Well, Spencer Pumpelly in the impound area. Spencer out of fuel, went from potentially winning the race to finishing 16th. What happened?
You know, that's something we're going to have to look at. It's very disappointing. You know, these guys worked really hard getting this car turned around. You know, we had a little issue in practice. The car was smashed. The guys did a great job getting it back together. We should have had at least 2 gallons left in the tank. I have no idea why we ran out, but you know, it's just really frustrating because when this car gets to the finish line, we always do well. And we looked like we had another day like that going today. These Continental tires are fantastic. The car was working great. Everything is going in our favor until some little miscalculation seems to get us every time. So, yeah, I'm pretty frustrated right now, and it takes a championship from being definitely in contention now completely out of contention. It's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, rough day. Brian?
Ryan Eversley climbing out, celebrating down here. I can barely talk after watching that finish. Now, I know that this is the first win for Hart for the season, but kind of look at how you took the victory there. You beat your best friend or one of your very good friends because of fuel. Who's buying the beer on Monday?
I introduced that guy to his wife, so I think I'm still in the clear. But I got to thank Chad Gilsinger for going from 18th to 2nd in the first half hour of the race and just putting on our display. Really showed what the Honda Civic's capable of, and hats off to the Honda of America race team for helping me out. And the biggest part of this win for me is my buddy Drew Leathers, who is in hospice right now. He's fighting NF, and this win is for him and everybody that's affected by the disease. And he was with me today, and I'll be with him forever. So thank you very much.
Makes the victory that much more special. Congratulations to the Hart guys.
No question about it. Thank you, Brian. Here's a look at the point standings in Grand Sport. 5th place finish for Liddell and Davis today. Their lead now 15 over the Plum brothers, today's race winners.
Well, that's a big swing there, the 24-point lead coming in, so that's what a win will do for you. You really grab those big points, still 3 rounds to go, and it really tightens up in ST as well, Justin.
Well, of course, the 26 Liam Dwyer, they started at the front. They needed good points, but the McCumbee McLear number 5 Mazda, you know what? They're leading going into the next round. Great job.
Don't forget, we continue our tour of North America's greatest racetracks. The next stop, Virginia International Raceway in Danville, Virginia. Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge coverage coming your way Sunday, September 6th at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Thanks for joining us today from Road America. For Calvin Fish, Justin Bell, Jamie Howe, and Brian Till, I'm Bob Varsha. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next from VIR. For now, so long from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.